So next I looked at another article that was labeled as a start class, and it's network security. You'll notice that, well, maybe you can't notice. Yeah, well, it's enough on here to see that there actually aren't that many references, the footnotes, the in-text citations. There are fewer, and sure enough, on the discussion, on the rating page, it said it's a start class. It needs more content and sources, and often needs reorganization, branches in and out, and categories. It doesn't have all the categorization, so I haven't got the whole page showing here, but if you were to look at it carefully, you would see that it's a good start on a page, just like they say, but certainly even the organization of the page, you can see from the table of contents. Well, maybe you can't, but if you knew something about network security, suppose you had a textbook from the NJIT library on network security, you could look at how it was organized, and you would see that some very major topics were left out of this page. So you might be adding a paragraph with a heading, another whole section, let's say, to this article. Not that it might be very long, but maybe there's a whole area of the subject that's been left off. That would be a good enhancement to the page, to say, well, there's a critical area that's very important to this topic that was left off, and I added it, in addition to sourcing it and the things that were there already, giving good sources. Okay, here's one that's an example of a stub class, shear wall. And I did find all these by backing into them from the portals, looking for the articles that were, by their rating topic. Or sometimes you also can start with a subject that you're interested in and move from there. Okay, so shear wall is something from structural engineering, and it was considered a stub class. It's basically a few paragraphs, and there is an image, but there are really no references at all. And so there's a definition written by, I don't know how many people because I didn't look at the history page, but there's a reference to the building code, but there isn't much else. So this would be a good choice because we have a lot, as I said, remember you have to keep in your mind, like, where am I going to get the information to support it? And of course we have a lot of information on structural engineering, and we surely have many books that talk about shear wall. And I'm sure that this could be, this article, which is not a new topic, would have a lot of documentation available to you for this, to enhance this page. So to me, this would have been a very good choice for this project. And it also links to a lot, it could be linked to many other articles in the, having to do with, engineering, civil engineering. Okay, so are there any questions about my examples? And a lot of students do end up seeking my advice and help when they are trying to pick their topic, because after you start to look around, you'll see, you'll be having to do that back and forth between looking at something and trying to find material to support it. And that's where I sometimes can be helpful, because I have more experience in mining the data from the library databases and from the book catalog. So I sort of touched on this earlier, but I just, this is so visually striking. I like this little picture. Most of the things that you find by searching, using a search engine like Google, Yahoo, or any of the other ones, it's a very small percentage of the material that's out there. And so what they call here the deep invisible web are things that are usually behind some kind of a protective firewall or an authentication wall, like you have to have be an NJIT affiliate to put your UCID in to get it. So that is really mostly the kind of information that's going to be considered more traditional, reliable kind of support. While there are good things on the web, if you only use the web, you will probably have a hard time doing a really top-notch job on this. So if you are unfamiliar with the library, you need to get more familiar, and again, I'd be happy to help you with that. But if you're writing a piece on shear wall and you don't use the textbook that discusses shear wall, but you're finding websites that probably maybe relied on that textbook but didn't cite it, you're not doing the right kind of documentation for your page.